Hey, so I've made a couple of videos talking about different subjects, different topics, different random stuff, movies, fun stuff. I thought I should do a serious video, so I've made a couple of videos talking about asexuality, and one of the reasons why I didn't identify for that for so long is simply because I hadn't heard much about it. It's an orientation that's under talked about and ignored. So I wanted to make a video where I pointed out other orientations that are not talked about and are ignored because, well, the simple fact is that people are these orientations, but they never identify them because identify as them. They never identify as them because they never hear about them. So there are these orientations, and they simply never hear about it. So they have no idea what they are. And I heard about asexuality, but I didn't hear about properly. So I didn't start identifying as it until very late in my life, considering. So I thought it would be good to do a video where I point out some other orientations that are heavily ignored and not talked about, and explain them a little bit, just so kind of to create more awareness, because my orientation isn't the only one ignored. There's a couple that are ignored. So I'm just going to go over a few of the ones that I feel quite a lot of people could relate to but are ignored right now, that are sexual orientations or identities of gender that I feel are heavily ignored, and it's kind of sad. Okay, so first one, big one. Well, not really big one. I guess semi-big or no. First one is cross orientation. I made a past video explaining that there are different types of attraction. You can be romantically or sexually or sensually or aesthetically attracted to someone, or a whole different type of attraction altogether. So you can find someone attractive but not think they're sexy, or you can find someone romantic or sensual but not think they're sexy, or you can think they're sexy but not romantic, and yada 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 yada. Basically, there are different types of attractions, and you can feel different ways for different people. Typically, attractions lined up for gender. So you'll be romantically attracted to both guys and girls, or you'll be romantically attracted to just guys or just girls, or what have you. But cross orientation is the idea that your attractions do not line up. So, for example, you will be romantically attracted to guys and only want to date guys and hang out with them because guys are cool in your mind. But you will be sexually attracted to girls, so you will want to make out with girls. So you will want to date a guy, but make out with a girl. So your attractions are different for different genders. Now, every now and then, somebody does pop up on AVEN, the asexual website, stating that they are that, but they don't know what that is, and then we have to explain it to them because we heard about it, because so many different people popped up saying they are that. It gets kind of annoying. But yeah, so that obviously is a real thing, because I've seen a couple people identify as it. As for why it's ignored, mislabeling. Like, obviously, if you're attracted to guys and you think they're cute, but you think girls are sexy, you're probably just going to say you're bi and just say, I'm bi. Screw it, I'm bi, I'm going that route. And not really look into it anymore because it's so oddball that you don't know how to explain it. I think it's mislabeling that makes it ignored. And also, we don't know how common it is because it's not a research topic. Not enough people are talking about it. It's ignored. So that is definitely ignored, and it's definitely a serious topic to talk, because even if it's only 0.00001% person who identifies as that 0.0001% person is going to have a really hard time, because they have no role models or people in fiction to look up to or relate to. Like they have no basis of how to handle this issue, because it feels like they're the only one that has ever dealt with this issue. And of course, it does raise questions of how you're going to make your relationships work, how are you going to conduct your love life, how are you going to get a family together and make everything all hunky-dory. And it sucks that that it's not talked about. So that's ignored one. So yeah, cross-orientation. You are attracted to different genders in different ways. You want to date one gender, but screw another gender, or just hold hands, I don't know. But different combos of attractions for different genders. And sometimes it's not that extreme, and sometimes it is that extreme. It's a very big umbrella, and I don't think that group will ever be fully accepted, because media as a whole likes to label people and group people. And if you accept the idea that attraction can be combined in about 1,000 different ways, then you can't really label and group people anymore. You have to actually ask them what they are, and that takes time, and media's lazy. It is so blasted freaking lazy. It's lazy, let's just face it. So, other things that are ignored. Well, there's different gender viewpoints that are ignored. There's not just transgender, that's one thing. There's also gender fluid. That's when you see yourself as one gender sometimes and a different gender in other times. And there's also agender. That's when you see yourself as not having any gender at all. Now, I obviously can't describe this stuff as well at all, because I have no idea what this is like. But that doesn't mean it's not important to those people who do identify as that. Like, it's who they are, it's what they identify, and they identify that for a darn good reason, because it's what they are, and they got put up with it every single day. So agender means you don't see yourself as having a gender. Another thing that's ignored, and this one is ignored in an extremely harmful way. Like, goodness gracious, you can't ignore this. Like, intersex. That's when someone is born and they are physically born as, it's hard to tell if they're female or male. They're born with body parts that could be categorized as both. This is ignored dangerously, because sometimes when this happens, the doctor will go snip snip and turn them into a guy or a girl to just fix them, and then a few years will go by and they'll say, I'm not supposed to be a boy. You guys made me a boy. What were you thinking, you crazy people? What's cool is some people are now not having the surgery done, and people are being allowed to grow up as intersex, and some end up getting surgeries and make themselves a specific gender, and some don't, because they identify better as the gender they were born with. So that's actually, they are physically a different gender, and it's ignored to the point where, if we're not careful, they're literally surgically changed. That's one that shouldn't be ignored. Kind of important one there. Man, my camera keeps moving. I'm sorry about that. So those are all the big ones that come to mind. There's, of course, others, of course. But, I'm just one guy, and I don't read the interweb 24/7. So I just wanted to point out those groups which are seriously ignored. And if you ever mention any of them, people will not know what you're talking about, and they won't know what you're pointing out. And that's sad. It's sad that people literally don't know their orientation or their sexual identity just because they never heard about it. That is just sad. So I just thought I'd create a video pointing out those groups. If you are aware of any other orientations or sexual identities that are extremely ignored, like to the point where if you mention it, no one knows what the cheese you're talking about, post away. Make me aware. It's doing a good deed for a day. I'm stupid. Make me learn. Anyways, random rant. Thought it was important. Don't know why, but maybe it is. Good night, all.